Summer's not over. Let's update your space with some new summer decor DIYs and ideas for 2024. Welcome to the Chic Show. This is a terracotta wine chiller that I've had for years, and I'm going to give it an upgrade today. The word grapes is engraved at the top, so I'm going to fill that in with some of this DAP plastic wood filler. Once I had it all filled in and I let it dry, I went back to sand it down, to sand down those rough parts, and I found that I was still seeing the word grapes. So I gave it a second coat and then sanded a little more gently the second time. This time I just used my fingers, so I thought I could give it a little texture, but it also be smooth enough that I wouldn't have to sand too much. Now, once that was dry, I went back with some elephant chalk paint by Waverly, and I painted the entire wine chiller, including about the first inch inside the bucket. Next, I'll use these two colors of paint to dab onto the piece to give it a concrete look. I'm just using a household sponge that I cut up into pieces. It really would be better if you had a more organic shaped sponge to do this with. I started with Waverly chalk paint in silver lining, and now I'm using Waverly chalk paint in elephant to kind of darken up the lightness of the silver lining. I just kept alternating those colors back and forth until I got the look that I liked. Now I'm using a stencil from Chalk Couture, and it says, please put a cork in it. And I'm going to be using just some white chalk paint because I didn't have any chalk paste. And you can see here I'm having trouble getting this to actually stick. I'm not sure why. So I do have a bit of smudging and some bleeding that I did have to go back and fix. I just used a small brush and went back and touched up with some elephant chalk paint and some white chalk paint where needed. Then I did use a little bit of sandpaper to distress the piece a little bit because that's the best way to hide your mistakes. For this project, I'm using one of these Dragonfly Air Fresheners for your car and one of these wood rounds that I found in a set at a thrift store. They were actually redone, but I don't have any babies and don't expect to have any anytime soon. So these rounds will give me a lot of use. Now I'm drilling a hole through the top of it to begin with, and then I'm going to give it a coat of Fusion's paint encasement. Nothing says summer like a dragonfly, so I'm excited to pair these two pieces together. While that dries, I'm going to work on the dragonfly. I removed it from the packaging and removed the suction cup, and then I'm just trimming off this little peg that was stuck into the suction cup. Now I'm using some gold leaf rub and buff, and I'm going to glam up this orange butterfly. I decided the wood round needed a little bit of glamour as well, so I'm using that same rub and buff along the edges. Now I'm going to glue the dragonfly onto the round using clear Gorilla Glue. I used a little bit of gold ribbon to tie to the top so that I can also tie this onto my wreath. All that's left to do is prepare your wreath and tie on your ornament. I'm going to give this ordinary plastic wreath hanger a more updated summer look. I'm using some jute rope from Dollar Tree or Walmart, I'm not sure, but jute twine, and I'm just going to tie it around the top and then secure it with a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm just going to wrap, and then wrap some more until it is completely covered. I am securing with a little dab of hot glue every now and again just to hold everything in place. I do want to take a minute and mention today's playlist. It's hosted by Can't Sleep Creations Collaboration. It's called Summer Ain't Over, hosted by Jody at Southern Seasons, Shabby Meets Bling, and Up All Night DIY. Be sure and check out their channels in the description box below, along with the playlist. I'll have everything linked there, and I hope you find a lot of inspiration for the remainder of the summer. And here's a look at the completed project with and without a wreath. This is one of the little burlap looking bags from Dollar Tree. It's not actually burlap, so I would not suggest using an iron on it or anything. It's more like plastic, but it does have a burlap look. I'm using these rub-on transfers by IOD, and I'm actually kind of piecing them together with pieces that I have left over, and I'm just going to be rubbing those pieces onto the burlap bag. I did place something hard inside the bag so that it would help me be able to rub on those transfers a little bit easier. Once I have that first scrap piece rubbed down, I'm going to burnish over it with the back of my paper, and now I'm going to add the second part, just piecing it together. I did use my little finger sander lightly to burnish over the top of it, just to kind of get it to set down into those little grooves. Once that was done, I did use DIY's Big Top to seal over the top of the rub-on transfer. And there you have the perfect little bag for the farmer's market. This project is using one of Dollar Tree's glass cutting boards, a piece of scrapbook paper, and a glass transfer from Dollar Tree. First of all, you'll need to remove the little feet from the bottom of the cutting board. I'm setting these aside because I will be putting them back on at the end. I'm actually using what's supposed to be the top of the cutting board because it's smoother. I'm going to be using the smooth side, and I'm going to put on an even coat of Mod Podge. I'm using this bright yellow polka dot scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and I'm placing that face down onto the Mod Podge because the yellow part will show through the other side of the glass. I'm adding another coat of Mod Podge to the back of the scrapbook paper. To have a nice, clean, smooth edge, I waited till the Mod Podge had dried or almost dried, and I used my finger sander to sand away the excess paper. Now I'll be using this Hello Sunshine glass sticker from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to stick that to the front of the cutting board. Now you won't actually be able to use this with this sticker, but I think it makes a great little addition to bring a little sunshine into your kitchen. I hope you've enjoyed these summer DIYs today, and I want to thank our host for hosting this collaboration. Be sure and check out the playlist in the description box below, and I'm going to leave you another video right here that I think you might like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.